Hi, this is Kim from Emerging Creatively Tutorials, and this is ECT TV, episode 33. So, today's episode is going to be in two parts. I am going to teach you how to make a cool decorative head pin, and then I'm going to give you a project to use it in. So, you can use these head pins in any way you like in any other projects, or of course the project I'm going to show you, or you can use different head pins in the project I show you. So, you can mix and match these two parts. Also, I'm going to be showing you how to make a specific decorative head pin, but feel free to get creative and make any head pins you like with any kind of decoration on the end you like. So let's get started and let's have some fun. So this is part one of today's episode, and we're going to be making ornate head pins. So once you have these head pins, you can use them in any drawer that you like. You don't have to use them for the project I'm going to show you. You might want to try it in other ways. So here are the materials you'll need. You'll need wire. I'm using 20 gauge, half hard, round wire. You can use any metal that you like. You'll need wire cutters. You'll need round nose pliers, and you'll need chain nose pliers, and you'll also need a Sharpie. Additionally, you will need a steel bench block or anvil and a rawhide or nylon hammer. That's what I'm going to use. If you prefer to flatten the top of the head pin, then you might want to use a chasing hammer, which will actually flatten the wire. So before we even get started, we want to take our round nose pliers and make a mark on them. This is just so that all of our loops will be uniform for this project. So it doesn't really matter exactly where you put the mark on your round nose pliers. You don't have to be exactly precise. You just have to use that mark throughout the whole project. So in this case, I recommend making that mark about halfway on your pliers. And we're just going to go straight across and around. Alright. And then we're just going to let that dry just, a couple minutes so that it doesn't smear. So now we're going to cut our wire to about 8 inches, and we're just going to straighten it out a little bit. I'm just using my fingers. And this is about 8 inches. You might not need quite as much once you get the hang of making these head pins. Okay, now I have my round nose pliers. And the way this particular head pin starts is just like when you're making a wire wrapped bead link. So I'm starting a few inches down on my wire. I will give you a measurement. Actually, I'm going to start about 3 inches. And this starts just like if you were making a wire wrapped bead link, if you've done that before watching my videos. So you just hold this wire in my round nose pliers. I have it lined up with the mark we just made, and you just pull that small part down toward you and then wrap it around your round nose pliers. making a loop. Now you grab your chain nose pliers, hold that loop in there. And as you see, I want this loop to be straight above this wire and it's off to the side. So I'm going to show you my trick for straightening the wire. And we're going to be wrapping the small end around the large end. So I'm going to just start to wrap. As I do, I'm pulling the long end straight and I'm wrapping around one time with the short end. So it goes completely around. Oops. And you can see the loop is now more straight on top of here. And you can always fix it now if you want. Alright, now for this head pin, I'm just going to go ahead and finish that wrap so it's coming out this way now. And now I'm going to make a second loop around the first loop. So to do that, to start out, I'm just taking my fingers and you know how when you would make ribbon and you would make the swirly ribbon with your scissors, and so you would put some pressure against the ribbon? That's what I'm doing here. And then I'm kind of wrapping it around. And at this point I am simply using my fingers. I'm just trying to make another loop around here. And I kind of have an egg shape, so I'm just putting pressure with my thumb on the top and kind of pulling with this small wire here. And so I have my second wrap. Now, if that doesn't come super easy to you, you could use your chain nose pliers to get it bent around, or your round nose pliers, or if you have long needle nose pliers, so they're the ones that are really long and have the skinny ends, that works well too. And so now we're just going to make some wraps underneath that very first wrap you made. So for the first wrap, I'm just using my finger. And now I'm just going to use my chain nose pliers to do the wraps. I'm just holding the loops in my thumb. And I'm going around a couple of times. You can decide how many times, but if you're going to be using several of these in one project, just make sure you make them all uniform. And then trim off the excess wire. And now grab your chain nose pliers again and make sure that end is not poking up. And you just sort of go like this and get it so it's not going to jab anybody. And there we have it. So now I'm just going to hammer this very top part where the two loops are. Do not hammer this part because you want to be able to use it. And what we're doing is actually just hardening this so it keeps its shape. So I'm using a nylon hammer, or you could use a rawhide hammer and a steel bench block. So that will keep the head pin will keep its shape, but I'm not flattening or doing anything weird with it. If you prefer to make this flat, then you might want to use a chasing hammer. So I'm just going to carefully and lightly hammer this. And you see I'm just holding it off to the side, so the only thing that I'm hammering is that very top piece. So that is the head pin. For the next part, we're going to make earrings out of these head pins. So you need to make two if you're going to use this for the project I'm going to show you. Or if you prefer, you can use this in any project that you like. Hi, so now we're going to do part 2 of today's episode, and in this part we are going to make our head pins into some really cute earrings. These earrings are super easy. but they look really cute because we have these decorative head pins. Now, I made these head pins, and they're the ones I made on film with you, and I used 8 inches of wire. They're a couple inches longer than you probably need. The great thing about making your own findings, such as head pins, is you can make them to the length that you need. So, in some cases, you might want them to be this long. In this case, you don't need them to be this long. So you can decide how long you need to make them based upon the piece of jewelry you're making. So all you just need to make sure is you leave enough room when you're wrapping this double loop at top. So make sure you have 3 inches for this part, and then however many inches you want for the rest. So maybe 6 inches would be perfect for these earrings to start out with before you start making your earring wires. So you'll need 2 matching earring wires. You'll need 2 beads. I am using Green Adventure Team Gemstone Nuggets. I got these at Happy Mango Beads, and I'll put a link on the blog post that goes with this episode. And you'll need 2 earring wires, which you can pre-purchase, or I made my own, and I taught you how to make your own, I believe, in episode 25, but I'll also put a link to that over at KimberlyKoehler.com so that you can easily find it, and then you'll know exactly which episode it is. You'll need wire cutters, round nose pliers, chain nose pliers, and then a pair of bent nose pliers, or just another pair of pliers to do wrapping with. So these earrings are just simple dangle earrings that I have shown you on ECT TV before. But what makes them special are the head pins. But I'm going to show you how to do it again. So you just simply take your head pin and slide the bead onto it. And now we're going to make a wire wrap loop at the top. So as you can see, this is really long, but that's okay. I'm just going to leave the extra wire on here and then cut it off at the end. So now you just hold the wire in your round nose pliers. I'm using the same mark I made from when I was making my head pins. So I'm just going to continue to use that as the size of loop I'm going to make. So line up the wire with that mark, and then leave just a tiny bit of space in between the pliers and the bead. And now just like we actually did in the head pin, you're going to pull the wire toward you, and then complete the loop by coming in between the pliers and the bead. And now we remove our piece from the round nose pliers, and I'm going to hold the loop in chain nose pliers. And just like before, as I go around with this piece, I'm going to straighten out the loop so that it's, as you can see, it's kind of crooked now. But as I do this, I pull out the bottom part here and go around one time. Then I'm changing hands, still holding the loop in my chain nose pliers, and I'm grabbing my bent nose pliers, which actually you don't even need to use with this long of a wire. I'm just using my hands, but you might want to use your bent nose pliers. And I'm going around a few times, and I'm just going to use my pliers for the last one to make sure it's tight. And then I'm trimming off the extra wire. If you're using sterling silver and you have this much wire, you want to save it to recycle it. And then I just want to make sure that piece is not poking out. So I'm just using my chain nose pliers to push it down, and I'm checking with my thumb to see if it is in fact pushed down far enough. So now I'm going to grab my earring wire, and I'm going to open up the loop. So to do that, it's similar to opening up a jump ring. I'm holding in my left hand the earring wire, and in my right hand, I am right-handed, I am opening up this loop by just pulling my pliers toward me. The loop stays in a circle. We're just opening it up so we can slide in the bead, or in the loop. that is on the top of our bead dangle here, but we don't want to pull it out or disform the circle in any way. And then I'm just closing the earring wire in the opposite way that I opened it. And that is one earring, so you just repeat for the second earring. And here we have the final pair. Was not really easy, but really cute. That's the power of making your own head pins. So I hope that this has been helpful and that you will find uses for these head pins in all your jewelry. And, you know, who knows, even make your own head pins in any kind of design you can think of. So I will see you in a couple weeks. Remember to head on over to KimberlyKoehler.com. The link will be below if you're watching this on YouTube. And get links to the things I've mentioned, and you get to see this tutorial in photographs. And while you're over there, sign up for my newsletter, because then you'll get these episodes right in your inbox. Plus, you get a PDF version of every tutorial I do. So, you know, it's really simple for you to download to your computer or print if you want. I will see you in a couple of weeks. Have a good time. So here is the completed pair of earrings. Wasn't that really easy, but they look super cute. That is why it's so great to make your own head pins. It really can take your jewelry making game up to the next level without really making it too much more complicated. So I hope you find uses for these head pins in all your jewelry designs, and maybe you'll come up with some of your own decorative head pins, and that would be awesome. Come on over to KimberlyKoehler.com and you can see this tutorial and photos, and plus you can sign up for my newsletter, which then you get these episodes right in your inbox every single week, plus you get a PDF version of the tutorial. So it's really super easy to download to your computer or print and take to your work table if you like. I would love if you made this project to post pictures over on my Facebook page, which is facebook.com/emergingcreativelytutorials. I will see you in a couple weeks. Take care.